Hi, have you ever wondered what it would take or what would happen if you got laid off of your job or got injured and just couldn't do the tasks that you normally do? Well, creating a side or an additional income outside of what you currently do is really key to success of the average person. And so today I have Nolan is going to join me as a guest speaker talking about what his decision was to create a second income for himself and some of the processes that made it make sense and not feel weird. I know a lot of people are like, well, how do I bring that into, what I currently do? How do I build two things at once? And a lot of that is very good questions, but just finding a system and a process to make sense is cool. So, hi, I'm Krista Silz, and I help business owners, entrepreneurs, and sales professionals create success faster so that they can have more time for the things that matter most to them. All right, so Nolan, I know we have discussed some things before, but I just want you to give me a quick background of what you've done or what your background was and why you decided to create a second income outside of what you're currently doing.
Sure. So I currently work with my parents' business. We do exterior remodeling. We do everything on the house besides a roof or a garage door we replace. My parents have owned it for 33 years. I've been with them for 7, and I still do that full time. That's my full-time job. I went to college in Northern Michigan University up in the UP. So I love snow, but I hate the cold. I went there for hospitality management and culinary arts. I did that for 15 years. So I used to work in high-end hotels. I worked at 5 Hyatts, 2 Sheratons, a Hilton, and 2 higher educations by the time I was 30. I got out of college at 23, and by 29, I told myself I wanted to be a director, and that's what I was able to do at Loyola downtown at the North Shore campus. But I had no time for myself, and that was okay because I was single. I didn't have anybody else. It was just me. But I also knew I was tired of working nights. I was tired of working 14-hour days with a 2-hour commute. And I was tired of, if you miss a water station or you miss a small mundane thing, then they all remember you for that. They don't remember you for the fact that you just fed 3,700 kosher meals in one room. Because that's what we used to do in the Hyatt off Wacker was events and coordinating. It's the biggest Hyatt in the company. There's 250,000 square feet of meeting space. If you set that hotel 4 times, you just set 1 million square feet of space. So I'm used to doing big numbers, but I was really good with developing teams. So that's why I kind of saw something of more value when I saw this. I work with a business that does essential services, and we cover the whole country and 27 countries around the world. So I thought I could learn while I was working and do it at my own pace instead of having to meet obligations of somebody else's goals that weren't my goals.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, and what's great about, what both of us do as our side income is that we do the job once, we maintain those relationships with those customers, and we get paid on it month after month after month.
Yep.
And that's what's cool. That's where you can create leverage, and you can build a team too. That just like with my photography business, I hire photographers occasionally when I can't do the job myself. So creating that leverage in a team and training them on what you're doing, and you can build a humongous organization. And you're building that one time, and you're getting paid on it for a long time, and that's really exciting to me.
Yeah, that's kind of what I saw too. Like with my parents' business, they've done it for 33 years. They have a very good reputation. We did 60% of our business last year was straight referrals.
Nice.
We have one siding crew who does all of our work. We have 2 gutter crews and 1 guy who does all of our windows and doors.
Mm-hmm.
So just for some numbers last year, we installed over 75 entry doors, over 550 windows, and over 36 patio doors just in that section of the business.
Mm-hmm.
And that's off of 1 guy.
Right. Yeah.
So Yeah, you kind of have to think, like, if you only have one guy doing this, can you grow or can you just maintain? And God forbid, what happens if he wants to leave, retire, or gets hurt? So why not try to figure out something in a certain amount of time frame that would make sense in case something like that happens? So you have a thing, whatever that thing is, that
Mm-hmm.
replaces that amount of income that you need per month, not right away, but just to survive at first,
Mm-hmm.
and have patience.
Yeah. Yeah, something that could just cover your bills, your monthly bills at minimum, would be great, because if you do, like you said, if you get hurt, or that employee like quits, if you have a
Yeah.
traditional business, or you just can't get along with your boss, at a job, you need some type of, I've always heard of, create a savings and have that as
Mhm.
a fallback. But what if that savings was coming residually to you? Like,
Yeah.
that's what's pretty cool. So how were you able to, having, parents that have a business, and then you're part of that, working in the hospitality industry, how are you able to bring on something else without being overwhelmed, and
Mhm.
without your, maybe everybody else being like, well, what are you doing now? That's not what we know you for. I guess that's a big challenge for a lot of people, starting something in a different industry and they're still doing the other things. How do you bring that all together?
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. There's a book I read. It was called The Millionaire Booklet from Grant Cardone. He wrote the 10X Law or 10X Rule book. And it's interesting because he had said that a lot of business owners do other businesses, but they do the first thing really, really well. And everything that lines up with their other businesses actually aligns with their primary business. So you're not taking time out of your day to learn a trade of something new. You're taking time and you're putting it back in your day by learning how to have those conversations about what already pertains to what you're doing. So people want new windows and doors and siding from us, but they also want energy efficiencies, and they want things that are low maintenance, that help their home, and then give them a convenience factor. Well, everything I work with is exactly that. I just had to think about how it worked.
Mm-hmm.
I can offer a homeowner a home automation system for surveillance on their house, which actually helps lower their insurance and their monthly payments on their home. I can also offer them different cost saving points of energies. I can also offer them different cost saving points on a product called an ID seal. So we get homeowners calling us all the time saying, we just bought a house. Can you come evaluate our windows? We're not sure if we're going to do them. But they don't know what they don't know. So if you were just to throw this element at them, they'd be like, how does that correlate to what I'm doing? If you explain to them that you can have the most energy efficient windows in the world, or siding or doors, but if you have a very old furnace or an old boiler or a very high electrical rate, then it doesn't really matter. Because if you don't control the fixed point, you can't really get ahead of it. You could invest $30,000 in windows, but you could have an energy rate that's very, very high and you still have really high energy bills. So why not look at it and appropriate both in the same conversation? And then the book also said, it has an interesting thing. It says if you quote unquote want to be a millionaire, you just have to figure out the math. And one of the numbers was, if you found 300 people and they were okay to pay $278 per month for 12 months, that would be $1 million. Now, averagely, people pay way more than that on services. So last year, I want to say we sold 300 jobs, and my parents have 3,000 plus emails. If just 10% were to say yes, you would have that figure in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is not to look at what takes time out of your day to do something else, but to look at what makes your day easier in the same amount of time. and work that way and kind of work it backwards.
Mm.
So what I've been doing, the one thing that are in the trades that are a major issue are you can't find work. You can't find skilled laborers. That's across the country. It's not just in Illinois. It's all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
So why not find the laborers who do a good job, but you can't beat the clock. We all know that. Every day we get older, every day our body slows down a little bit more. No matter how well you eat, how well you maintain yourself, if you exercise, things just get slower and the world gets faster. So why not work with construction firms that are independent business people and teach them a skill set to go back into their relationships they've built for 20 years and teach them how their contacts they have of builders, homeowners, suppliers can all literally help them to be able to walk away at one point by creating something for themselves. And instead of saying it's a business, say it's an investment. If I invest X amount of dollars with you, I can help you understand how you can develop a 20% return. And if you developed people who want to learn how to do it, you get 4% return on them. So it's just the verbalization, but also I've done it for 4 years. And there's people who've done it a lot longer than me who are a lot better. But you just got to kind of find the niche that works for yourself. If you're in construction, then you do services, then apply it. If you're in construction and you do health, then figure out how to apply it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything can be brought into the conversation. It's just how you verbalize it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no scripts. I don't think there's any scripts. I think there's just ways to have the script help you until you understand how it benefits what you're doing already.
Yeah. Got to kind of tailor it to what you're doing. I love how you brought that in with with the clients that you already have. Why you're already looking at energy efficiency. Why don't we look at energy rates too? Things like that, or other things for your home that would benefit the customer. Like for me, with similar services, I'm a photographer, but I work with a lot of companies. So if I can they're hiring me to help increase to attract more of their ideal customers and increase their sales. But what if I can also, with a partnership that I have, help you save money and bring up to 20%, increase up to 20% on your bottom line profits? Would that interest you? Things like that. So I'm talking to a lot of my clients, just kind of, said, hey, we made this partnership. And then I might even offer a special that month where they get a discount on their photography, or they get a free aerial image of their facility, something like that, where it's just an appreciation gift, basically, of, okay, you're partnering with us on this side of things. I'm going to offer something else to you as well. But it's a win-win for everybody. They save money. They earn, if they partner, then they can earn extra money. And then and then they also get more incentives with my photography side of things. So I'm partnering with them with two different aspects, but trying to bring it together, just like you did with yours.
Yeah, there was a gentleman last week. I did 3 different kind of expos. One of them was a business planning expo of how to transition small businesses to the next generation or another business owner.
Okay.
The gentleman who was speaking has done TED Talks. He's a professor in California. He's done leadership roles all over the world. And we ran 3 scenarios. One scenario is you own a gas company and there's a person who owns a gas station. You do a script where you're either the station owner or the company. So you don't know what that person has. You have your script, they have theirs. So you want to take a trip around the world with your wife. You've been working for 18 years and you're ready to retire. You're not old, but you're not young. You need X amount of thousands of dollars to retire. If you can't get that, then you can't make everything work. So I only knew that. I didn't know what the other guy had. So I'm trying to sell my business for $500,000, and I came to the agreement of $375,000. So everybody looks at it like, well, you're a little bit low. I'm like, well, what I also worked into the contract was that I would get free gas for my boat and free gas for life. And the speaker was like, that's really creative because I've never really heard somebody approach it that way. It can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to fill a boat to sail around the world. And this is showing more value because then we extrapolated on the idea. You can do a social media campaign. You could wrap the boat in the gas company's name, get free advertising, travel around the world. Oil companies are having huge issues now with gas and boats. So you're doing something promoting family businesses, and it just kind of took off from there. But then the other aspect of saying, like, if you had people donate to your cause when they're sailing around the world, every time they make a donation, you do a donation to a charity, and then you're helping to give back something to that community. And that alone, he's like, that is huge because then you're offering a discount, you're giving something back to the community, you're trying to make a conscious effort to change something, and it doesn't change anything of the person donating. It's like $1 or whatever. So what are they going to miss, $1? It's the same concept as a Girl Scout. Like, why does everybody buy $9 boxes of Girl Scout cookies when you can buy 100 Oreos for $1.50? Because you're supporting the cause. You can't say no to a little girl in a Girl Scout uniform sitting in front of Jewel, like saying, "You want to buy a cookie?" People will buy hundreds of dollars. They're opening up those things in front of dispensaries, and they're making a gangbusting. But that Girl Scout is learning how to monetize. She's learning leadership skills. She's learning how to talk. She's learning things that people just see it as a cookie. She sees it as something else. So if you look at a bill, it's just how you see it. If you see it as a bill or you see it as an investment. If this bill costs $100 or $700 or $1,000, you basically tell a person you're going to invest $1,000 every month into your own personal account that gets you 20% return. Or would you rather invest $100? I think any business owner would rather invest $1,000 rather $100. It's all about how you say it, and everybody has their own niche, but it just takes time because a lot of people, I really, really believe, won't do what you do until they see you be successful per their standards of success.
Right. Well, people that you already know. So sometimes it's, better to go into the cold market versus, your warm market until you've gotten some of that success. And you always tell you let your family and friends and coworkers, whatever, know what you're doing. But I totally see that. Some people, that know you their whole lives aren't going to see you as the successful entrepreneur if you've been an employee your entire life. So you just got to live by example and not let that bother you and keep going and keep taking those action steps to succeed and be consistent and persistent, and you will succeed. And those people who maybe said, no, we're not now, will follow your footsteps likely later when they start seeing tangible results from your opportunity, from your business, and see that, because sometimes people are like so doubtful until they see somebody they know be successful. And I know it's challenging. It's like, well, how do you be successful if like everybody I know won't support me? Well, you got to find ways to reach out to different people then, so don't let any negative people that are negative about you pursuing your dreams hinder you from being successful.
Yeah. Like I was at one of the expos and I met a person. It was a homeowners association expo. I got a few cards and called a few people up yesterday. And one of them I met, like, he's like, okay, well, I'm like, I'm not going to really try to talk to you right now because you're trying to meet people. So he said, well, yeah, I got some time now. So I talked to him on the phone yesterday for a little bit. And he's like, so you said 20% in your card. I don't understand how this works. I'm like, well, it works like this. I compare what you have and you pick. This works for homeowners and business owners. And he's like, yeah, but these numbers don't make sense. How can these companies give 20% back? I get a fraction of this. And I do this professionally. I sell energy on a whole, like a wholesaler. Like, that's fine. It's not so much how it happens, because I can explain that to you. It's how you could approach it to your clients. Because you're a consultant. Would you rather teach your clients that you can get them 0.25% back, or teach your clients that you can get them 20% back if they have, say, a hotel and the billing volume is $100,000 a month for an electrical bill, which is not out of the ballpark? Would you rather teach them how to get 20% back of that or 0.25% of that? So it's just verbalization, but it's like you said, you have to be resilient. You have to know that it works. And people aren't going to believe you until they see it. And a lot of the time, people would much rather look at a brick and mortar location because they can physically see it. But to open one of those up, and now for a franchises can cost like $50,000.
If you're
And you
lucky,
see,
some are way more.
yeah, and you see all these people, not to say anything bad about them at all, like people who are like celebrities, like Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds has a gin company. He's been an actor professionally for years. But now he also opened a cell phone company up where if you refer people to him, they'll pick up your cell phone bill for 1 year. And everybody looks at him like he's crazy. But it doesn't really matter because he already knows, he has his confidence set in how his acting ability is. And he's already made profits with whatever else he's doing. So what's so different with him compared to somebody who doesn't have his capital but still wants to better themselves, and they can do this in the same capacity as he can do that?
Mm-hmm.
There's really no difference. It's just the monetary part. He has more leverage with the monetary. We don't have that option. We have to work with what we have, and what we have is a very controlled amount. Especially if you have a family, it's hard to divvy up X amount of money to go forward on any kind of endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. And I hear like there's a lot of actors and athletes that become real estate agents or start their own business of some sort like that, because they get to a point in their career that they either get burnt out or they just physically can't do it anymore, and they're doing something else that's going to, and those type of things is they're not capped on their income. And that's what's so key is, most of the sphere of influence of my family and people I used to work with and things like that is, you got to work more hours for more money. I'm like, but that's limiting. Like, I know we could do more and we can help people. So we're helping people save money, earn money, and we get paid every month. It just makes total sense to me. And what's so cool is that you don't have to have that huge capital. So there's plenty of opportunities out there. So you figure out what you're either good at or something that means something to you, or relates to something that you're passionate about. So if you're really passionate about health and wellness, look at all green products and natural stuff. Maybe that's your fit. If for people that are in businesses and energy saving things, something with essential services may be a good fit for you. It just, even if you're into fitness, I think there's different companies out there that are athletic clothing type of opportunities. So there's all kinds of different things. It's just a matter of finding the right niche for you, finding the right team for you or mentors that are going to help you succeed, and something that just makes sense. So I encourage people to, reach out to people who are successful, living the dream, living the lifestyle that they want to live, figuring out how they got there and following them, So like my daughter's school today, they're doing, go to work with your parent type of thing. So she's at work with my husband right now. And I think that's so valuable is, they're teaching, kids go kind of shadow somebody that might be doing something that you want to do, whether it's your parent or even somebody else, and see if that lifestyle and that, what they are doing is something you want to do. And if their lifestyle isn't what you dream about, find somebody who does have that lifestyle that you want and figure out how to get that for yourself.
Yeah, there was I heard somebody say once where the only thing you can do is dream. But the interesting thing about dreams is unless you can figure out how to manifest the dream to make it work, it's just a dream. So when he had said with kids are interesting because kids are the best salespeople, but they're also very curious. If you can be ferociously curious all the time, you'll get that much further ahead in life. But the funny thing was, so if a child hates reading, but loves the tablet or the computer. And if they have an idea of what they want to do of the dream, like I want to be an astronaut, and you don't tell them what they need to do to become an astronaut, but you encourage them the fact that if you love science and math, but you hate English and reading, you know, the greatest astronauts sometimes had reading disorders, possibly, but they figured out that they needed this component to be really successful at doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of gave them the edge of saying, if you really want to do this, then you need to be very proficient with this as well. So let's practice these skill sets that you can't really do the greatest on. And then over time, it took hold of that person. Like I heard somebody say, don't offer your kids allowance for chores because you'll make them to think that if they do work, they get paid. Offer them, once they read a book, give them an incentive, whatever it is, like monetary. After a certain amount of time, they won't need the money because they'll love to read.
Mm.
So you encourage something out of them that had to be something that pushed them a little bit first, but then after a point, they got pulled. When I used to work in hotels, I'd have to be there at 4:30 in the morning. I'd get home at like midnight sometimes and got to be back in 4 hours.
Oh.
Yeah, for 12 or 14 hours straight, because you're management. But I was never late, and all the places I had to drive to, I was never late. And they're like, well, what did you do? After I thought about it and listened to all this stuff, it didn't push me, it pulled me to do it. If you get pushed, the pushing energy will eventually stop. You can't push yourself all the time. You're going to burn yourself out. You got to get something that finds the push, and then it turns into a pull that drags you there, that you want to be there. Even if it's a bad day, you still get up the next day and do it again. Because it's not a push, it's a pull.
Nice.
So, and it works perfectly, but I think it takes time to develop that. Like I told myself by 30, I wanted to be a director, and I knew I had to work around the country. And I traveled a lot. And I would live in the hotels I worked. I would drive an hour and a half to work. And I would have horrible days, and I have great days. But it became a pull that I wanted to be there. After I left hotels, I worked with the parents still, and I'm still trying to figure out how to do that. But now I can see that what they've built, I can expound upon, build it more, and offer something that we don't have that no other contractor is doing. So it sets us apart even more. And then, like you were saying, when the person gets too old to do it, they're tired of doing it, they want to do something else. Well, why not focus on what you like to do? If you could just give straight referrals, why not give referrals, but have the incentive being like every time you give a referral, you have the potential of getting paid on the referral.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have to do it, but just that alone, like if you talk to 100 people and they're all looking for something, we refer people every day, at least 10 times a day. And every business owner does the same thing. Like, I can't do that job, but I know somebody who can do that you'll be happy with. What if that referral said, okay, I'll give you some money every single month or whatever it was, saying thank you. And that's all it is. But people think it's too hard. I'm like, it's really not. You just think too much into it, which is okay because you're a human. It's something new. You don't know the skill set yet, so you're trying to figure it out, and it comes with time, and people sometimes don't have that time because the thing they thought they wanted doesn't fit with what they like.
Right.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's something out there for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I know we both got to get going, so I just want to thank you for your time, and just thanks for being on.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.